Our next few slides are going to walk you through the K-12 Pbl Roadmap. The next step in the Pbl process is to start thinking about ways to identify the big idea of a Pbl experience. When thinking about Pbl experiences, know that they should be inquiry-driven, which are rooted in the question of, what do you want to know more about? Interest-driven, in which students select the topic of interest. This requires a focus on more subject-neutral content standards and/or content-specific skills or learning pillars. Find out what your students are interested in and have that drive the Pbl experience. Design-driven, in which students investigate the people and world around them, and based on those conversations, identify a problem or challenge that they wish to address. Again, thinking from the student perspective, where does their interest lie? And then problem-driven, in which students focus on developing potential solutions to a specific problem. Here are a few tips when thinking about the big idea. Your big idea needs to be authentic, real world. That means it is relevant both for the subject content and for where your students currently are in their lives and in their interests. If it can be community-based, that's even better. You want to think about something that matters to these students right now. Your big idea should naturally generate lots of entry points, both for you as you package the student experience and for your students as they unpack the experience. You don't want them all following the same path as they do this project. Your big idea should not just be a curriculum standard or set of standards you have rewritten, but it should and will eventually connect to your standards that you have mapped for the project. Here are probing questions to consider. Do you have a lesson or unit that you want to redesign into a Pbl experience? You do not necessarily have to start from scratch to build a Pbl. Have you recently talked with a community member about a community-based problem that links nicely with your subject and standards? There are many people in our own community that are very willing to work with us here in the schools. Do you overhear students discussing problems they are experiencing in their own worlds? Again, the more authentic you can make this experience for students, the better. Is there any overarching theme or concept that could be considered across two or more subject areas that would support deeper student understanding of those subjects? Again, Pbl should not be one more thing you have to teach. Instead, it should be able to cover many areas that you're going to teach anyway. Is there a current hot topic in your students' world that would lend to some teaching of your curriculum and standards? This is about teaching to the whole child and really building those relationships and getting to know your students first, finding out what interests them most. As we stated earlier, Pbl should not be one more thing to teach. Instead, pick core standards and content skills you teach every year to build your Pbl around. By teaching these standards and skills this way, learning is more impactful for your students. We talk a lot about the 21st century skills we want our students to possess, but we also need to think about the strategies we are using as teachers to achieve those. We need to make sure that what we are planning is academically rigorous, integration of academic and career-related knowledge and skills, inquiry-based, project-based, real-world authentic lessons, performance-based, technology-rich, career-relevant. Pbl checks all of those off the list. And for our students, we want to make sure that they are achieving these types of skills. Application of academic knowledge and skills, critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, communication, creativity and innovation, global awareness. When planning a Pbl, you usually pick 2 to 3 of these to focus on. but you will find that your PBL experience will cover all of these 21st century skills. Next, we are going to watch a short video about the 5 keys to rigorous projects.